Monsters is one of the most important aspects of D&D. One of the three core rulebooks is entirely dedicated to it. If I recall, it's the largest of those three. That might just be how my three copies appear. And it's great for DMs to have a wide variety of monsters at their disposal at any time to throw at the party. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at what I believe to be the single most powerful monster in D&D 5th edition. I think there are a lot of good candidates, just all of the essentially 25 and up CR monsters I would consider in the ballpark of being potentially the most powerful, but I think only one stands head and shoulders above the rest, and I think it is absolutely by far the most powerful monster in the game, particularly due to one ability. So yeah, if you enjoy this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe. I do D&D content all the time. I'd love to share it with you. I'm very near 500 subscribers when I'm filming this. I might have broken it by the time this video comes out. If so, stick around. I'll do something special for 500 and even more so for 1,000 if I ever get there. So yeah, let's jump into what monster I think is the most powerful in D&D 5e. This is not a conventional pick. I haven't really heard anybody talking about this monster since it came out. It's a newer-ish monster. It came out last year. It came out in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons right here, which is one of my favorite D&D books that's come out for 5th edition, particularly just due to how it has expanded the lore of a variety of monsters in the game rather than just giving us a bunch of new stat blocks. It's a bunch of essentially in-game text that you can have to describe different dragons of different types. But yeah, the monster that I think is the most powerful comes from this book. It is called The Aspect of Bahamut. I think I'm pronouncing Bahamut correctly. I've always been a bit concerned with how I pronounce that. I think it's correct in this case. But it's actually rather fitting in that Fizban himself is Bahamut, and I think it really makes sense that in his book, he would be the most powerful present. So we're going to go through the lore of this creature today, and I'm going to show the abilities, and particularly the one ability that I think makes it the far and away most powerful monster in 5th edition. Definitely the most powerful in this book. I could see a couple arguments for other monsters, but I think, for my money, it is the Aspect of Bahamut any day. So, getting into the lore of the Aspect of Bahamut. Aspect of Bahamut. Known as the Platinum Dragon, Bahamut is the patron and progenitor of metallic dragons. Since fleeing the first world, he made his home in the 7 heavens of Mount Celestia, and is often numbered among gods of that plane. Adventurers and dragons alike pray to Bahamut to uphold honor and justice, or when they need courage to face a great threat. In the most dire situations, a powerful follower of Bahamut who makes a tremendous sacrifice, a vast horde, or even the follower's own life, may convince the god to send aid to the world in the form of a divine aspect. This aspect is a physical manifestation of the Platinum Dragon, carrying its memories and will, and a significant portion of his formidable strength. Bahamut's aspect displays the full glory of the Platinum Dragon, towering over even ancient dragons. Covered in platinum scales, his physical features combine various elements of the 5 kinds of metallic dragons. According to some scholars, combining them in different ways with each manifestation of the aspect. But Bahamut is also found traveling the material plane in disguise, so his aspect might appear as a wizened old sage, young monk, or songbird. In any form, Bahamut's aspect is often accompanied by 7 ancient gold dragons who favor disguising themselves as canaries. In combat, Bahamut's enemies... Combat, not combat. I misread that as close to Bahamut. Bahamut's enemies experience the full force of his justice, while his allies enjoy the full benefit of his mercy. His breath can wreak monumental destruction and work miraculous healing, and the few things in this mortal world can cause him lasting harm. And furthermore, there's a cute little aside on the next page where the stat block is that is by Fizban himself. Seeing as he is Bahamut, he says, objectively speaking, of all the dragons, Bahamut has made the best decisions. He's also the most handsome, and his horde is the giganticest. Let's get into the stats themselves, which is what I think makes it such a great monster. To CR 30, which is the highest we've seen in 5th edition. I think the highest it can go in 5th edition. Armor class of 23 is quite good. That is better than any PC can really get unless they are specifically focusing on armor class with like a Forge Cleric or an Armor Artificer. 585 hit points is quite a few, to say the least. It has a 60-foot fly speed, 60-foot burrow speed, 60 feet on the ground, 120-foot fly speed, so there's a swim speed of 60 feet, which is great. Stats are fantastic across the board. Strength, charisma, constitution, and wisdom are the highest. It has proficiency in 4 saving throws, all but dexterity and strength. Strength, it already has a +10, and dex is really the only weakness there, with just a +4, which is still pretty good. It has a bunch of languages. It has a passive perception of 28, which is pretty remarkable. It has a bunch of damage immunities, being acid, cold, fire, lightning, radiant, and then bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing non-magical attacks, and a bunch of condition immunities as well. It also has true sight, and those are the extent of essentially the stat elements before the abilities. Furthermore, its proficiency bonus is +9, which I thought is just really amazing to see. In that I think 6 is the highest BCs can get in 5th edition. Platinum Brilliance is its mythic trait. This is a mythic monster as introduced in Mythic Odysseys of Theros. How many times can I say mythic in the same sentence? I think this allows it to essentially have an extra health bar. Whenever it hits 0 hit points, it just pops back up to 500 hit points. So effectively it has 1,085 hit points, which is really, really remarkable as compared to other monsters. Like the Tarrasque, which has, I think, around 600, if I recall, and no mythic traits, which is really puts it by the wayside in terms of power level overall in 5th edition as of the current time filming this in 2022. It's also got 5 legendary resistances, which is worth writing home about, as that is a very high amount. I think that is only held by CR 30 creatures, or maybe a few. It might be the Great Worms as well, so maybe high 20s creatures. It's got multi-attack, which is pretty standard up to this point. It's got a tail, claw, and bite attack. Notably, the tail attack can knock people prone. It's a DC 27 strength save. So unless you're specifically investing in strength or critting, you are not going to do well on this save. And if you fail that save, it'll knock you prone. And if the dragon does that first, it'll get advantage on its other attacks against you. All the attacks do a sizable amount of damage, usually in the neighborhood of, at least the bite is 2d12 plus 10, and then plus 40-10 radiant on top of that, which is just a ton. But up until this point, you might be thinking, oh, these abilities are pretty good, but maybe the aspect of Tiamat is better. Maybe other CR30 monsters are better. I would agree with that up until this point. I think that this is on the level of those up until right now, but I think the next thing is what pushes it 1,000,000% over the edge for me. It's Breath Weapon. Its Breath Weapon recharges on a 5 to 6, and there are 2 options for it, as is the case with any metallic dragon. The main Breath Weapon that I am concerned about, that I think is the most powerful effect in the game by a mile, is its Exalting Breath. Let me read the text for this for a second. The aspect exhales the restoring winds of Mount Celestia in a 300-foot cone. Each creature in that area of the aspect's choice regains 71 13d10 hit points, and each creature in that area of the aspect's choice has been dead for no longer than 1 hour is restored to life with all of its hit points. So, for reference, the only spell in the game that returns a target to its life with full hit points and no consequences is True Resurrection. This is a 9th level spell. It is the most powerful resurrection you can get. It is a single creature that you are touching that costs a 25,000 gold piece diamond in order to cast. Compared to this Breath Weapon, which can do that for free, no cost whatsoever, to as many creatures are in a 60-foot cone, which is a massive amount of creatures. And not only that, it is not just humanoids, it is not just PCs, it is creatures. That 60-foot cone could be full of gold dragons, and they could all come back to their full hit points. This is an outrageously powerful ability, and I think it's really, really incredibly cool. I think it really lends well to this being a dragon god who's restoring life with its breath, and I really like that. In addition to that, it's got a wide variety of powerful mythic actions and legendary actions, and it can shape change as a bonus action, which is really remarkable, because that's typically been an action in the past for dragons, so it really shows he's above that typical baseline. Furthermore, I really just think that it's a really cool monster to roleplay, and we're going to get into that now in a second. On the role-playing side of things, if you are a good aligned party, you have no reason to be fighting the aspect of Tiamat. But a creative DM might have solutions to that. For evil aligned parties, this is such a fantastic final boss. Imagine if your party has just faced down an army, and then suddenly the aspect of Tiamat appears, breathes on them once, and they all come back to life at full vitality while you're still tapped out. It is such a cool visual to me, and it's so incredibly powerful as compared to any other creature in 5th edition that I really, really enjoy it. And there are a ton of potential quests that could revolve around this. Maybe an evil patron is trying to get a cult to summon an aspect of Bahamut in order to steal a bit of this breath weapon, to synthesize it in order to resurrect things on their own. Or maybe an aspect of Bahamut has been summoned for nefarious purposes. Maybe it's been corrupted by Tiamat or by another demonic or devilish or just evil entity in order to serve their own ends. And a good line party needs to put down this good thing that has been taken over by an evil force. I think the role-playing potential of an enemy this powerful is just immense. And furthermore, I think this is one of the few stat blocks that could truly be a challenge to creatures that are level 20, or player characters that are level 20, excuse me. Because I think that having that resurrection breath is just so, so powerful. I don't know if I'd allow them to breathe on themselves. I'd have to consider that. They are very big and could just turn around and do that since they have such long necks, but They definitely couldn't resurrect themselves. That's more for the healing element. But overall, I think that because of that resurrection breath weapon, it is far and away the most powerful enemy in 5e. And I think that if used properly, it could be just a devastating threat to any D&D party, even level 20. So that was what I thought was the most powerful monster in D&D 5e. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe while you're down there. I think 99% of my viewers aren't really subscribed to me, so be sure to help me raise that number up. I'd love to make more D&D content, and I really enjoy doing this. And it's great to see that number grow, both likes and subscribers. And if you have any ideas for future videos I should do, be sure to let me know. I have a few I'm working on currently. But overall, I'd love to hear any sources of inspiration potentially from you guys, what you guys want to see. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.